Welcome here to Wewak, Papua New Guinea. Brad and I are heading out to Inadu today, 32-minute flight to drop off some fuel drums for their lawnmowers and some other stuff down, I don't even know what it is. Anyway, it is going to be cloudy on the way out there as far as like kind of low layer.
System test, okay.
I'm hoping by the time we get out there, it should have cleared up. It looked like it was maybe 1,000 foot kind of broken when we were flying in here from where we could see. So let's go ahead and get started and get on our way to Inadu. The last time I went into Inadu, it was the wettest I've ever had it in my life out there. It was a very stressful takeoff. It was like wherever you just walk around the airstrip, your feet would like sink and water would cover your shoe.
Oh wow.
It was really wet.
No kidding. Orsby 126.7, November Tango Echo Taxi. Orsby 65908, November Tango Echo Taxi.
Station Colimo 65998, go ahead.
Orsby, November Tango Echo, request taxi, Wewak, Inadu, 2 POB.
November Tango Echo, say again, destination.
Inadu, for November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo, copy taxi, no reported traffic.
November Tango Echo. All stations, Wewak 126.7, Kodiak November Tango Echo is taxiing for runway 28, Wewak. Turn on the windshield wipers.
All right.
Okay, we'll say 50 knots, 5,000 feet, or we can abort. Full reverse, max braking, flaps up. And if we're going off the edge, cut off, pull off, turn off, V-twin master. Power loss after takeoff, we'll pitch for 85, attempt EPL, and if unsuccessful, normal idle feather cutoff, pull off, turn off, V2, crack the doors. Flaps are 80, 85, 90, 96, and then we'll get master off before touchdown. All stations, Wewak 126.7, November Tango Echo is on the roll 28 for a southwest departure. Wewak. 1540 for 1590. And checklist is complete. 1540 for 1590, rotating 62. Ready to go? Ready. Okay, power's set, airspeed's alive, engine instruments are in the green. For 50 plus, continuing, and there's 62 for rotation.
To see about where the wind starts picking up, or at least where it starts indicating on here. I'm just curious. So we have an idea, maybe if the wind shear, like if that's where the wind starts picking up, or the airplane starts feeling it. Full bump set. 300 feet. It looks like we're even getting better visibility now, even since we've landed out this way. So I think it's just going to be a cloudy day when we get back. That's the way I'm hoping. Oh, the winds are picking up now, 16 knots. So when Brad and I were coming in here just a few minutes ago, what was the highest we had?
It's like 27, I think.
Yeah, 27 knots at like 4,000 or 5,000 feet. Coming in the direct, so we'll have a direct headwind on the way out there. We threw a little bit extra fuel, 20 minutes extra fuel, just because we had the available space today. So why not? Looks like it's actually getting even sunnier out there, so I think by the time we get out to Inadu, it should already have been cleared up.
Predictor's a little bit off to the left here.
Sorry?
Predictor's a little bit off to the left of our heading.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's quite the crosswind there. I had a lot of people ask me like if the G1000 has been like feel like it's a distraction Or do you feel like it has too much information that it makes you sloppy in your flying?
I think once you learn how to use it, it is extremely helpful. We've got everything right here within a small glance.
I agree. I feel like at first it might be a little bit overwhelming not knowing where to look, and it can be a bit distracting, but after you get it, like your situational awareness picture has just expanded like tenfold on how much more information you have, and this makes your life so much easier.
It's way better, for sure. We'll try him on 126.7 again.
Orange 126.7, November Tango Echo departure.
Orange 6598, November Tango Echo departure.
November Tango Echo, Morphe, go ahead.
November Tango Echo departed WEWAC 10 on track 212, climbing 8,000, estimating a Nadu 42.
November Tango Echo on climb 8,000, no reported traffic. Secretariat calling in second sequence.
No reported traffic, report again this frequency, November Tango Echo.
I'm going to go ahead and bring this trip chart up for you viewers so you guys can see where we're going and what it's going to look like. It's a nice jungle airstrip, but if you want to try to fly this exact same flight on Flight Sim or X-Plane or whatever it might be, check out the link down below and I'll post those on my Patreon page. And also if you're interested in flying the Kodiak, the SimWorks Kodiak just came out this week when this was filmed, but it might be in a couple of months from now when I actually post this. But anyways, I have a Kodiak, how to fly the Kodiak course on basically all the fundamentals about the Kodiak, takeoff, landing, and a lot of G1000 stuff and how to set up cruise and everything. So check that down below if you are interested in learning how to fly more specific this. But let's go ahead and bring up the strip chart for Inadu. It's 560 meters long. It is 110 feet elevation. I was telling Brad a minute ago just how like it's critical that we stay right in the middle of the runway because it gets very soft. Probably like maybe 15 feet off the middle of the runway, so not very far off from where your wheels are. So if you're off maybe 5 to 6 feet off of your center line, then there's a good chance that that wheel will sink down into the ground and potentially pull you off where you don't want to go. This is a Class C airstrip just because of its length and just because of the specialness of basically the runway softness. So I'll be the landing on this one just because Brad's still working on Class B airstrips. Then we'll be coming into Yembi, taking you guys in there before, but we won't be filming that one today, and then Brad will be doing that one out there. So it's a flat runway, and that is what it looks like from the air. Really pretty place. The winds are coming, I bet you because the winds are coming this way, and the mountains, it's kind of tucked right next to the mountains, I'm guessing that there's not going to be that much winds when we get there. I might be wrong, but we'll see when we get out there.
Have a preference on which direction you land if there's not a wind?
If there's not a wind, I would rather land over the river. For one, it's a prettier approach, so you'd enjoy it more. But then also, that end of the runway is typically a little bit softer. So if I land and then stop halfway down, the door's on that side ready just to dump out all of our stuff and roll the drums out. And then when we taxi to the end, it's just one turnaround, as opposed to having to turn around on the runway, taxi back, and then turn around again.
Okay.
So the least amount of turning around I have to do here, the better.
Are you required to take off on 2-3?
Nope, doesn't matter which way we take off. If there's no wind, we can do whatever we want out there.
You're just saying because the approach into 05 is soft, you're never going to be taxiing down there if you don't have to?
If I don't have to, and just because it's now rainy season, there's a much higher chance that it's going to be softer. During dry season, it really doesn't matter. The camera's doesn't overheat on days. The chime was just letting us know we're just 200 feet yet to go, up to 8,000, and we can set that up in the settings in here. If you're flying a G1000, or if you're flying on a flight simulator, you want to set that up. Let me just see if I can find that real quick for you. Come over here to your aux page down here, and your system setup. Then, let's see, where is, oh, here we go. Right up here, the altitude, or airspace alert, altitude buffer is just 200 feet. If you set that at whatever feet you want to, then it will actually chime 200 feet before you get to where you want to, and it makes it pretty nice and easy. And Brad's just bringing the torque back down to 1250 for now that we're in cruise. Our airspeed's up here up to 137, so it'll probably settle on down to maybe 130. And then our true airspeed right here, that will just pretty much stay around 159 to 160, pretty much all scenarios, unless you're down low. And your true airspeed is going to be a little bit slower. I've noticed over the past couple weeks you feel like, it looks like you're feeling like you're a little bit more comfortable. Like, I feel like your situational awareness on like what's going on in all of your flights has really increased over the past couple weeks. So good on you for that. Do you feel the same? Like you feel like your eyes aren't like searching for things that you're looking for now, or?
Yeah, I think I'm finding stuff in the cockpit a little bit easier. I'm understanding what to look for out here. I'm hearing the radio a little bit better, just because I've heard it before and I kind of know what to expect.
Yep.
And just the repetition, I think it's really helping. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling more comfortable in the cockpit. Feeling less stressed before, during the planning process, and during the flight itself.
Just about what?
I'm less stressed, yeah.
Is there anything particular that you're stressed about, or just a matter of maybe not forgetting something, or?
Yeah, early on, there's definitely the thought of what am I missing? What do I need to be doing now? But then also just being overwhelmed like the entire time.
It is. It's so different than you did a lot of your flying in Oklahoma. So it is so different flying here around mountains for one, and then our patterns are usually close and very low to trees and terrain, and it's very distracting. And then you're landing on these jungle runways where the trees are up, 60 feet on each side.
Yeah.
Everything just moves so much faster, it seems.
Yeah, it's way different, but on top of that, it's just been a long time since I've flown. I learned to fly, and then I became a mechanic, and then I got back into flying, did some instruction for a while, went to Bible school, went to missionary training, went to Arizona, but then there was another year, like over a year in between my aviation training with the NTMA in Arizona to actually getting to the field here, and then another 6 or 8 months before starting to fly here. So it was really almost 2 years before.
So like in all, like I would say most pilots are like anywhere from like 10 to 12 years on average from the time that they start their training to the time they actually get to the field. And out of that 12 years, I bet you they're flying for maybe 5 years out of that 12 years.
Yeah.
That's how it was for me, that's for sure.
It's hard whenever you take a month break, you have to get back into the flight mode, and then whenever you take a year off, it's just almost like learning it.
Back in 2018, I took a whole year and a half off of flying, and then got back, and I was like, man, the whole year and a half, I completely wiped aviation out of my brain. Like, I didn't think about it once, didn't think about like starting the plane, anything, and I was like, dude, I don't remember how to do anything. Let's start over. So yeah, I jumped into the simulator and sat in there for a couple days and relearned everything really fast.
Yeah. Probably flew to pilot for a while, didn't you?
Not as long as I was kind of expecting to. It was like, I did the sim for about 8 hours, went out, we did our biannual check ride, kind of just like our base check. And then we went out on like one flight, and they're like, all right, I think you're ready to go. I don't know if I'm quite ready to go. I'm like, at that point, like, I had only flown the Kodiak for like 7 or 8 months before I left, and then I didn't fly it for a year and a half. And I also was not flying the whole country before I left. Like, we were, but yeah, I guess we were, but not very long though. So yeah, it was pretty overwhelming at first, just getting back in and like, just kind of like being thrown to it and just like, all right, figure it out.
This was like 3 or 4 years ago that you were thrown back into it.
Yep.
Now you'll take another year. But the thing is, whenever you come back next time, there should be an R66 up and running. Yeah. And you should go straight from the training there to flying an R66 here.
That's right.
That'll be nice. Yeah. And then you have to be a year in the R66 before you can jump back into the Kodiak?
No, I think what our regs say is it's I think it says 500 hours,
Okay.
or maybe it's 500 hours or 300 hours in type.
Okay.
But I'll be coming back with probably close to 300 hours. At least that's my goal, is to get 300 hours before I come back.
Yeah.
So technically I could be able to just jump right back in.
Probably want a little bit of time just flying the R66
I think
in
so, yeah.
country.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely, I don't know how many hours we'll get. Maybe 300 or 400 hours a year flying the helicopter. I think right now I'm getting like, no, I'd say it's 550 a year is what I get in this.
Okay. You want to just kind of overfly the runway, do kind of a lower pass, and then climb back up to 1100?
Planning to fly over this way and then across,
Okay.
and then we'll see if it looks really wet. They said that it was dry. Wasn't it that in the text? They said it was dry.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go off of what they've told us and go from there. And hopefully it's, yeah.
Great. So overfly midfield, entering a
Right downwind
for
yep.
runway 05.
Yep.
And then you'll take the controls on turning final?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's some hills over here, and then you can see 2 hills right here. So we're gonna go right over just the edge of that and then turn, and it'll probably be, I'd say still 500 feet would just do fine. You might have to be a little bit higher than you normally are over top of this hill, but then turning final, it should be right on, and then we'll basically hug the edge of that mountain all the way down.
Okay. That's 100 feet on field elevation.
Yep.
600 turning final, maybe like 800 turning base, then 1100 on downwind.
All right, I'll brief this one just because I'll be doing the touchdown. So basically you'll fly the whole pattern. We'll evaluate, see if there's any water that we can see standing, or we'll be looking for like dark patches to see maybe if it's softer in certain areas, just because if it has been saturated a long time, not that it's muddy, but you can tell that it's actually a little bit wetter in those areas. We'll do a right-hand pattern for runway 05, and after you turn final and wings level, then I'll go ahead and take over from that point on.
Okay.
We'll do a VREF of 72 knots coming in. We'll have to go around. It'll be really over the threshold. Power up, 20 degrees of flaps, pitch for 73. Watch my torque and resetting my torque for the climb out of there. I'm gonna go ahead and hit you over in heading mode and set this up. What are we at? Oops, that's not what I wanted.
Vertical track.
There we go. So 1011 or 1010? I accidentally moved that.
Oh, 1010.
10 OBS. There we go. So what, 9 miles out? So we're looking for that river right there, which I guess is this river here, but I actually always thought it was a little bit bigger. Well, depending on if the winds are actually going to stay this strong down here, we might switch over to runway 23. I guess when we get over the field, we'll just determine from there. 18 knots for crosswind. That'll be fun going into this place if that's the case.
All stations Inaru, Kodiak, November Tango Echo is 4 miles northeast, 2,600 on descent, estimated circuit time 4:05.
You been here before ever?
Inaru. I think I have, yeah. I'm getting to the point where my mind is a little bit less saturated, so I'm able to remember more details.
Alright, it should, what are we at, 3 miles? I think it's right over there. I think I'm seeing the edge of it, maybe. Oh, yep, there it is, down there. You have to dive bomb, because we're not very far from it. There you go, you see it now?
Oh, yeah, I do see it.
A lot closer. Orsby 1267 November Tango Echo in the circuiting auto, cancel SAR. Orsby 65908 November Tango Echo in the circuiting auto, cancel SAR.
Station 65908 8, confirm. Tango Echo.
Affirmative, November Tango Echo in the circuit Inadu, cancel SAR.
Tango Echo in and get salvage terminated.
Negative Inadu, November Tango Echo.
Tango Echo. Yeah, apologies. Inadu, salvage terminated.
Thank you. All right. All stations, Inadu 1267 November Tango Echo in the circuit Inadu. All right, go to the very end so I can see out your window. And the wind's just completely dropped off, even though we had 13 knots just up there, just because of these mountains here. So we'll still plan on doing our same pattern that we were planning on doing already. Actually does, yeah, it looks nice and dry. All right, we'll land about where that tree is, the first tree on the left.
Hey, we're already beyond, are we?
Let's get our flaps in now, because we're pretty much when we turned, that was about the end.
Okay.
Kind of where that low spot is on that mountain, we're going to go right over top of that.
Okay.
500.
We're going to stay on this side of the hill.
Okay.
So where the highest peak is, keep going, keep going, keep going, and then right there, that's where we're going to head.
Okay.
And then just hug this hill just so we don't shortchange our final and give us a shorter amount. So just head over to the left a little bit and just get as close as we can to these. All right, looks like we might have maybe 1 knot of tailwind. I might have flight controls. We'll do full flaps.
Flight controls.
We're gonna come over here first.
Gotcha.
That way, because it's a pretty short final already as is.
Okay.
Yep.
Makes more sense.
And we want 72 knots. I'm already a little low. Knots tailwind. A bit fast. That river's low. I cut it really good. Nice. Your wheels get stuck all in that stuff. Alright, you want to get our brakes? There we go. Get my breath. Alright, we're just dropping off a couple drums of fuel here. And we actually have some rugby balls and some soccer balls that give out to these kids here as well. And just to say thank you for cutting the grass and keeping up with airstrip. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for joining along. Like I said, if you want to try this same flight out here to Inadu, I'll screenshot this right here. You guys can try it yourself.
Jag get mega one plan like talk so low plan. Mega some balls low community blow plan. House line blow plan. You know, low one man and blow get that. So I'm just one plan lily way me plan can talk. Thank you, Lord. Cut the marriage strap now. Walking on something, Lord. Place follows for you, plan.
Go, go, go.